Welcome back to the Fight Plan Podcast, fight fans, where today we have yet another opponent of mine on the ice, Ryan Schnell, a guy who has a very unique journey through hockey, a guy who really was raised in not a hockey family. He ended up being the guy that went down that path, and next thing you know, he's at the USNDP program. What a shock for him and his family. Not only did he get into a sport nobody knew anything about in the family, he was pretty damn good at it at a young age. But it's also because he was a bit of a man-child, something I never got to experience. This guy is a beast. So it's going to be an interesting chat with a guy that I pretty much forced to fight me. Whoa, fight fans, slow down. I know we're excited about the episode. I am too. But I have a book update for you. And I know it was April and then it was June, but now it's the first week of September. And after my mama gets back from Scotland and her trip, September 2nd. I'm not doing this thing more than once. I am doing it right. I'm not even making these decisions. But I promise you, it'll be worth the wait. Namaste, fellow waves. In the ocean of loving consciousness, namaste, we are one, and we are back with another great episode. Okay, from Cary, Illinois, place I'd never heard of, Ryan Schnell, who has a unique journey. You know, he didn't get an NHL game in, but my goodness, did I, looking into his stats, think he should have got one. I mean, this guy had 3 PIMs a game in his AHL tenure. He had, I think, almost 4 PIMs a game in the East Coast. It's crazy. When he was in the lineup, he gave you everything he had. It's very apparent. I mean, very curious to see why it didn't get there for him, why he didn't think so. Does he hold on to anything from his journey still? What's he doing now? I love to just, when I can, talk to guys just briefly when I book them for the podcast and then not say anything else. Just a couple texts, couple voice notes, get them set up, and then we hit live and we just rip it the first time we're talking. That's the best organic way for me. And I think that's just how life is. These guys and me share this brotherhood, but I think we can all make people feel comfortable no matter who they are, as long as we just do that work on ourselves and be humble and just be inquisitive and ask them about themselves, not be conversational narcissists, always talking about ourselves. So Ryan Schnell got to play in St. John. I never even got to play there as a visitor. Very excited to ask about that. He ripped it up at times in the East Coast. He fought Joel Recklich, my teammate, twice. Like, this guy's got balls on him, okay? This is definitely an episode. We got to put the wrist tape on, the Vaseline up. We got to make sure we're ready because we got a brawler on our hands. Nama fucking stay, Ryan Schnell. Brother, thank you so much for joining us on the Fight Plan Podcast. What's going on?
Hey, man. Nice to meet you. And yeah, I'm really excited we got to chat. I'm good. How are you?
Absolutely. What's that?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, buddy, I am buzzing. And I'm already living in my head back on January 16th, okay, 2015. I'm playing in Rockford, rookie year pro. These Iowa Rockford battles were just crazy, man. You guys had that siren. I think it was the second, no, it was the first period. And you come down on a rush. It's you, Cody Bass, and Louis LeBlanc on a line. And I think LeBlanc kicks it out to you. He drives the net, but he's not paying attention. John Curry, our goalie's out of the crease. He kind of sweeps his feet, but he's like, what the hell? Why was the goalie out of the crease? I'm watching all this go down. I look at LeBlanc. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to go after him for that. Basser skates the other way. And then I just see you, and I just kind of slowly teeter around, and I just go up to you. I'm like, somebody's got to pay for that. And I'm just making shit up. There is no reason for a fight. I am just like trying to just be noticed. I'm trying to get attention, ice time. And you're like, what the fuck? And we just started going at it. We just started going at it with lefts and rights.
That's exactly how I remember it. I was so confused when you just continued to ask me, did you hit him? Did you hit the goalie? And I'm like, no. And I kept saying no, but you just weren't taking no for the answer. And then it finally clicked. I'm like, oh yeah, like LeBlanc hit him. Like, okay, like finally I just told you, like, yeah, I did. That one. And off we went. But yeah, I was but like you said, like you wanted to find a way to find a fight and make something happen in the game, and you did. So kudos to you. But yeah, man, you really put me in a big confusion state there when it was very clear. I think everyone saw it probably that it wasn't me, but hey, it brought us to here we are today, right?
That's it, brother. Now we're sitting here talking about it. I made a video, one of my first fight reviews I did. I went to that one because I thought it was such a great example of just forcing something to happen. I didn't grow up wanting to be Taidomi, all these guys. I wanted to be like the guy that could play like Rob Brindamore and fight when he just absolutely had to in the corner. But here I am out there, rookie pro, just literally, like you said, like, did you hit him? Did you hit him? Just it's like when you it's like when cops bring in somebody who they know is innocent and force them into confession. That's kind of what I did
Yeah,
to you
yeah. You're playing mind games.
there. Yeah.
So that
But
I didn't
dude,
know it at the time, but that was your rookie year.
that was my rookie year, and that
Okay.
was your last season. Isn't that crazy? Your third last fight, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. It make me feel old, but wow. Yeah, lots changed since then.
Well, what do you remember about those battles against Iowa? Because you fought Joel fucking Recklich like
Yep.
a month before me.
Yeah. So that was the second time I fought Wrecker. Yeah, I forgot he was in Iowa. And that division, was Iowa. I don't even remember. Was Iowa? Were you guys in their division?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, Milwaukee, the Wolves, Grand Rapids too. I think Tristan Grant
Yep.
was there that year. Maybe he was in
Brother,
Milwaukee.
I
Um,
just had him on last night. We were talking about the same thing.
okay, yeah, it was a tough division. So yeah, I think I didn't play a ton that year, um, but I'd say probably 90% of the games I did play, it was always in the division, and that's part of it, right? Because there's a lot of guys running around. So, but yeah, Wrecker. It's funny because I got to know Wrecker actually before I fought him, and I think that kind of helped settle my nerves because he's an animal and he's cut from a different cloth. And when I was skating in the summertime, he was in our group, and I just got to know him through the summer. Ended up spending some time with him away from the rink, and one of the greatest humans ever. Um, just an absolute heart of gold, awesome dude. But I got to see him in a way that I never saw him before. Because I would either be at games seeing him play, or see his videos of just pure mayhem. I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I ever have to cross paths with him, it's gonna be a fight that's real challenging, right? So, but anyhow, yeah, just getting to spend time with him, I just kind of realized, man, like he's no different than me. He's no different than anyone else. He's just a freak of nature, and so that kind of helped you know settle my nerves a little bit when we had our first bout in Hershey.
100%, dude. I watched them today. That first one, I'm sad that the second one isn't online for whatever reason against Iowa, but that first one you had with them, man, you guys were trading back and forth. And this is the second time somebody's come on here and just sung Wrecker's praises. He was an incredible dude. I want to
Yeah,
have him on the podcast so bad. He's probably off in the Colorado mountains biking with his calves the size of
yeah,
45-pound belts.
yep,
Guy's an absolute weapon.
yeah,
But
yeah. He's probably
when
out in
you
a
look
cabin somewhere. He's got a Starlink set up, or he probably even doesn't have that.
100%. He's either biking or he's like flipping houses. He could like flip a switch and be like, brother, what's going on? And then next thing you know,
Yeah,
be like talking deep financials about real estate. You're like, what the
yeah,
fuck is going on here?
yeah.
But dude, when you look back at that version of yourself, like third fight left on that night we fought, what comes up before we dive in all the way through your past? What comes up on that night we fought? What was your state back then of mind?
So, do you happen to know what month was that? What point in the season was that?
January
That's
16th.
January. That was kind of towards like the end for me, and I didn't quite know it, but that was the toughest year that I went through mentally. We had Bass was there, Labrie was there. I lived with PC. Um, Mashinter was there for a bit that year as well. So I wasn't in the lineup a ton. I fought in Toronto very early in the year. I think Andrew McWilliam, and I think either cut up my finger or broke it or something happened on my hand. I couldn't make a closed fist. I couldn't hold my stick. So I was out for a while, missed some games there. Um, but yeah, by the time January came, um, I wasn't playing a ton, and I just was never really in a groove there. I mean, there was a little bit of a period during the season where I was playing consistently, but I mean, I'd have to go back and look. I mean, I bet you there's maybe a 7 or 8 game stretch I played without being taken out of the lineup, and then after that, it was just a onesie twosie here and there. So playing
Yeah.
you and playing against Iowa is probably one of those. But I think the last game I played was in early February, and then I didn't play for like literally 25 games for the rest of the season. I just didn't play, and I was healthy.
Hmm.
Um, so it that year took a toll on me. I was thinking about doing something else after that year. I wasn't entirely committed to hanging them up at that point, but I actually spent that season studying to get my real estate license. I did that online. I did that, anytime I could at home if we had days off or after practice. I'd spend an hour or a few or the weekends, with the day off or something like that. I worked to get my real estate license. That's something I wanted to get into, and I did. Um, so I was kind of one foot in, one foot out, but you know, I never thought of it as a distraction. I don't believe it was a distraction for me. I thought I was actually playing some of my best hockey that season when I did play. So, um, you know, our coaching staff was okay. I wasn't the biggest fan of our head coach.
Not many people are.
Yeah, and I'm not going to come on here and talk ill of anybody, but just you know, I'll put it to you this way: there's other coaches I played harder for
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
was more happy to play for.
Yeah.
I played for my teammates that year. I'll
Yeah.
put it that way. Um, and there was other things going on behind the scenes where I just thought there was a little bit too many cooks in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and it just sucked the energy out of me mentally. I mean, my whole, ever since maybe a little bit after juniors, until I think it was 26 when I got done playing. But that whole time frame was just mental exhaustion, right? Every year you're on a contract year, 13th, 14th, 15th forward. So the mental part just became too much for me. And then, yeah, I was hurt every now and then, had a few concussions. Obviously, that played a role in it too, right? Like how much of my health do I want to preserve? And then if you just look at that time frame, guys like you, um, guys like Mashinter, um, other guys ended up to extend their careers, but that was kind of the time where our role was starting to slowly phase out, right? So I kind of knew the writing was on the wall, and I just wanted to see that summer, what was next, and nothing really ever materialized enough where I was like, all right, I'm gonna play one more year. So it worked itself out, and I have no regrets about it. But yeah, that year was tough mentally for sure.
That's beautiful, man. What a great setup for where we're going. It's like a memoir. I'm writing my book right now. People kind of know where it ends up, but we're going to take us through kind of how we got there now. So, yeah, like you said, 26 years old. I love that you were already thinking outside the game. That's so beautiful. I can't wait to get into that and what
Yeah.
you're doing now, which I think is amazing. But let's go back, man. Let's go back to Cary, Illinois. Let's go. What was Cary, Illinois all about? What made you the guy you were? Did hockey kind of grow out of you or from you or through you? Like, how did it get involved in the game for you?
Pretty organically. I mean, my dad, my family, big sports family, and no one in my family played hockey, but the town next to us in Barrington, it was located right off the highway, driving to my grandma's house. So we drove by it, at least once or twice a week, if not more, headed over to see my grandparents on my mom's side. And so um, my parents just decided one day, hey, we're going this route anyway. Let's just put Ryan on the ice and see what happens. There's something to do. I have two older brothers. My oldest brother was doing football and baseball. My other brother was doing wrestling, basketball, swimming. And so, I guess hockey was the only sport that none of the Schnell boys had dipped their toe into yet. So yeah, they threw me on the ice. I think I was 3 years old, and then just took over from there.
Were your brothers freaking units like you, or what?
Yeah, yeah, and I was always the guinea pig. Anything that they didn't want to do or knew that they shouldn't be doing, or maybe they were nervous about doing, they twisted my arm plenty of times to have me do it. But yeah, my whole family's, size wise, we're a big family. I think all my brothers are at least 6'2", 6'3". My dad was like 6'1" ish. And my mom's got some height on her side. So yeah, and I was this height. I mean, I'm 6'3". I had the size to my advantage for a long, long time. I think I hit 6 feet by the time I was probably fifth grade, sixth grade.
Holy.
Yeah. So it took I had some years of leverage there with my height and being on the ice. I didn't really have to worry about skill a whole lot, but eventually one day, you know, everyone's size caught up and my skills didn't catch up all the way. But yeah,
That's interesting. I saw all the big boys, but they kind of took it out on you. So you kind of
yeah.
got that toughness. You use your size to your advantage early on. But when did you first realize, as maybe the kids weren't catching up in skill too much yet? When did you first realize that you could maybe chase this thing a little bit, even though nobody else in your family's doing it? There's no pathway. But when was that moment where you're like,
Just to be like fully committed to staying with it.
yeah, like yeah, where
Yeah.
you're like you had that first note of like looking at like an NHL game or a pro game and being like, you know what, I could maybe do that.
Um, I remember making the jump to AAA with Team Illinois, and I had never, at least I don't remember it, but I don't think at that time I really understood what that commitment was.
Hmm.
But I was super excited about it, understanding when we started talking to other parents and coaches about what AAA is all about, what the travel commitment is, what the you know future could be like if you go this route. Um, but I would say by the time I was 13, 14 years old, and I always played up a level for the most part at AAA. So I think my first and second year, I was with my age group, 89 birth, but then the next three, I played up with 88. So I think once I made that jump to being with the 88 group, um, I could see that there was some potential, hopefully play junior and then go to college and that sort of thing. So around that time, um, but yeah, then after that, again, I still had the size a lot, and I really had my eyes set on going to the national development program. So I had in my mind, if I can accomplish that, then maybe there's another level I can unlock.
Mm, beautiful. Yeah, that's you jumped right to AAA, and you're like, "What? This is new." And a year later, you're at the USNDP. So, two questions. First one, did hockey give you like confidence, or was it something that quickly morphed into I have to prove myself? Like, did it go from fun to kind of performance at NDP? Like, when did that transition happen? Because we all have that time when it's like it starts to become a job.
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, it was always fun, but by the time I got to the US program, it
Mm,
was really the first time I noticed a huge separation in skill and just where I was as a player, as a
mm,
skater, everything. So making the jump from like 89 birth year to 88 birth year, I was fine. And I think my size and just how I was used at that time didn't really shake me up a whole lot in a bad way, right? So I never felt out of place. Um, but yeah, when I made the jump to the U.S. national program, it was very eye opening. And I remember my dad telling me when we did a tour of the facility and we went to I think they did like a 40-man tryout back then. Maybe they still do. My dad saying to me, like, this is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done.
mm.
In a good way, right? Like in a supportive way, but like kind of painted the picture for me. Like, if you're going to commit to this, I know you can, I know you can do it, but trying to set the expectation for me. And it was not just living away from home, but no longer am I, the top in the top three, top five, top six forwards coming out of
Mm.
AAA, right? I quickly became the 12th forward, the 13th, 14th forward. So that's kind of where it began. But yeah, the U.S. program, it was great. I mean, I struggled my first year, but for better or for worse, it's a place you go, and when you leave, you have a life full of experiences and lessons learned. So yeah,
Did you move away from home for that?
yeah, yep. So I was still living in Illinois at the time. I went to Ann Arbor my junior and senior year. Is when I was
Okay.
there for the program. So I went to Huron High School. Half the team went there. Half the group went to Pioneer High School. But yeah, I actually had two billet families. The first family um, was good, and then I ended up with a different family for my second year, and I'm still close with them. I see them in person. They have a son who lives in Chicago, so if I'm in town there, I'll try to visit them if I can, and still text on the holidays and talk and share pictures of family and stuff. So they're super close to me, and um, yeah, I was far from home, but not too far. It was 5 6 hour drive. So
Yeah, that's
parents
not
came
bad.
up pretty often. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, so looking back, I mean, obviously you're in it. I know that feeling. It's just like, oh, I was in the OHL. Now you're at the USNDP. Oh, this is great. This is supposed to be awesome. But like you said, you're quickly the 12th forward. Like, do you think back retrospectively and go, man, like what if I just kept playing at like the one up division or back home where I would have been, got to play a little bit more. Maybe wouldn't have been thrown with all these national league. Like you were playing with an unbelievable group of guys at this program, like Van
Yeah.
Riemsdyk. Like it just goes on and on. So does that enter your mind as far as the development pathway?
No, I just think, no, I don't, because at the AAA level, I was doing well. I was getting noticed. I was getting recognized. I knew that leaving to go play junior and at that level, um, that I was ready, that I was good enough. Was I going to be successful as the James Van Riemsdykes of the world? No, I knew I wasn't that player. Um, but the fact that I was playing up for a couple years with another birth, with the '88 birth years, and physically dominating too at that time, juniors was
Mm,
definitely the right step. I think looking back retrospect into my junior career, I and we all do that, right? It's easy to look back and say I should have done this, should have done that.
of course.
But I think if I recognized how beneficial another year, my overage year in the OHL would have been,
Mm,
it could have put my career in a different trajectory.
mm,
But that was a decision, either go back to Saginaw for another year, because I really excelled that year. I think it was a really good fit in Saginaw. The coach was good with me. I liked the team. I liked my billet family. Liked my teammates a lot. Fought everyone. Was doing fine. Right. Played
yeah.
played a regular third, fourth line consistently. So it was a really good fit across the board. But after that season, I got invited to the rookie camp with Pittsburgh and did really well. They were very high on me, and they offered me a one-way AHL contract. So for me, it's like, man, that's what I've been striving towards. How can I say no? I'm going to go back and play another year in junior, right? I jumped on it. So,
Mm,
um, but yeah, I just wasn't at the right positionally and skill level with the U.S. program. Like those guys were just all a step above me. It just took me a long time to kind of get um, up to speed, I guess, not to be cliche, but literally had to get up to speed in my skating in the game. But by the time I was 19, 20, I was with Saginaw. I think I was starting to figure it out. And by that time, I knew that if I was going to have any type of career professionally, I needed to play a certain way and play a certain role. And I embraced it. I was into it. It was fine. But I think if I went back one more year, who knows? Maybe there would have been more than just Pittsburgh who was interested, or who knows where it could have landed. But
that's it, man. But I totally resonate with what you're saying because my journey was for whatever. I got drafted as a 19-year-old, so the year you chose to go play, but you didn't have that in your back pocket, right? You're
Yeah.
thinking, I have the AHL contract right here.
Yep.
If I go back and I score 30 rips, but I break my leg, I'm not playing pro.
Yeah. And when I was with the Chicago Steel before leaving to go to Saginaw, there was no other option. It was just finish the year and say a hope and a prayer that something happens, right? Like I was not getting um, college opportunities at all. So
Mm.
I owe a lot of thanks to a guy, Jason Kohler. He, I don't know when we first crossed paths, but he brought me into Chicago. He was our GM for the Steel. I think he's a Pittsburgh guy. But yeah, he brought me into Chicago, and then I think he did some scouting for Saginaw.
Mm.
So after the first year ended with the Steel, I went back, and then halfway through the season, he was just tracking me down. He's like, "I need to bring you to Saginaw. You're going to be a great fit. You shouldn't be playing in the OHL." And he was just begging me to come and play there. And I really didn't know what to do. But at the time, um, I had already turned down a full ride to Michigan Tech. Just wasn't a fit for me. Didn't want to go. Didn't want to go there. Um, Vermont had some interest, but never materialized to anything. So when I was with the Steel, I was talking to my coaches and saying, "Hey, should I make this jump to the OHL? What are you guys seeing with, you know, any other teams that are D1, D3, anything?" And they're just hit
Mm.
me straight. They're like, "Ryan, there's nothing. So play here, or maybe you should make that jump." And they kind of nudged me in that direction. I'm glad that they did. It was actually Steve Popper, who you played with in Iowa, right?
Popper, what a guy.
Yeah.
Popper was a
So
beauty.
Popper was my head coach with the Steel.
Come on, that's awesome.
Yep. Um, so he was awesome, and I still did skates with him in the summer, and huge development coach all the way around. But anyhow, yeah, Popper's like, it might be the best thing for you to do to go there. So I did. Yeah.
Well, what a transition. I mean, from the Chicago Steel, where it's like you said, it's a certain type of game. Guys aren't getting recruited to go play college for fighting. I mean, you're on a team with
Yeah.
some skill players, but then you go to freaking Saginaw and you got like the OHL people, like the real fight fans know you were fighting everybody back then. Your own team had Cody Soul,
Yeah.
absolute monster,
Yeah.
like Shrek. I know him a little bit. He's such a good guy. Bocek,
Yeah.
Combs, Kane, Allycock.
Yeah.
Jordan Schwartz was a fucking honey badger, and then you got you, and you only played 22 games, 71 pims. Everybody was looking for the new meat.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened to Kane Alcock, but I think they traded him to Sudbury, or maybe he
Mm.
was. I don't know where it
Yeah,
ended
I
up,
think
but
he did go to Sudbury. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So he moved on, and then I came in because I ended up taking his spot in the billet house.
Okay.
So it's just the old switcheroo, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, at that time in the league, like Luke Gazdick was there, Richard Greenup was in the league, I think Peluso was in the league,
Yep.
Matt Martin was in the league. I mean, every team had at least one, if not two. We had really big battles with Plymouth Whalers that year all the time. Um, so yeah, it wasn't hard to find a fight.
No, you each team had two lines or two D men of freaking fighters, man. Like Kane Allycock, 6'5", 245, Soul 6'8", 230. Like people, enormous men. Like fuck, like I'm dude. If they didn't put a 10 fight rule in my second year in the OHL, I would have had 300 fights. I only ended up with like 137 because they put these 10 fight rules in. But man, they did not have that back in
No,
your
they did.
day. So
No, yeah.
fuck.
I mean, I had maybe there might have been a game or two where I had two a game. I think with Plymouth probably, and then in the 20 some games I played, I think I had 12 or 13 fights. So it was like every other game
Fuck,
we
dude.
were going.
So where did this part, obviously you were a big kid, but growing up there's no fighting, but where did the ability to fight take us through that process? Because you're a guy that throws both hands, you stay in the pocket, you were technical. Like I love the way you fought, man. Like you went all in. So where did take us through like that journey to get to that point where you're tilting the monsters in the OHL?
I, I knew I had to use my size, and it really occurred in, I think I guess towards the end of my first year playing at the U.S. program. I honestly think just a lot of it came out of frustration,
Mm.
um, because I was always into off ice training, always into weightlifting, always into taking care of myself, and I had a lot of control of that. Everyone does off the ice. Like when you're not practicing, you're not playing a game. If you're in the weight room or doing video, like you know, uh, you have a lot of control, if not all control. When you're playing a game, yeah, you have control, obviously, of your shifts, but you're waiting until your line's called, right? But anyhow, I felt like I was having things develop for me off the ice and physically and doing well, but on the ice, just couldn't understand the type of player I was at that point. Really didn't know
Mm.
what type of player to be. Um, and on top of that, you know, trying to get my skills developed, trying to get better, but then I see everyone else around me, how strong of the players that they are. Guys are starting to get more looks. The scholarships come into play for everyone on the team, and for me, I just felt like, man, like I'm behind, and so that was something I knew was going to happen naturally, and I was okay with it. But that frustration starts coming a little bit, just kind of comparing yourself to your teammates.
Mm.
But there's also stuff going on, personally for me at home with my family. That was one of the hardest parts, just in my life that I had to go through. So that was another layer and added frustration, right? And then just, not being used on the ice a lot than what I was used to. And so, anyhow, I think it just all boiled over one game. I was just pissed off, and I don't know who I fought, but wasn't a very big person, so an easy win, I guess, for me. But I just remember kind of feeling like a weight off my shoulders after it, like, oh, it's like a little quick 30-second therapy session. Got to drop the gloves and piss pound someone. That was pretty fun. And I finally saw that the team responded to me in a good way. I'm like, man, all right, that was cool. I don't have to score a goal. So then I had a fight where I actually hurt a guy really bad. I think it was a playoff game, my first or second year there in the program. I can't remember. And he got hurt really bad. He got attended to off the ice. They took him off the ice, and he was a big guy, but he was challenging me the whole game and just barking at me, chasing me down. So we finally squared off at the face-off, and I just dropped him. And everyone was kind of like, shit, you should keep doing that. Like that worked.
That was an animal.
Yeah. And so it kind of started to click there. I'm like, all right, like if I can do that again, things should work out in my favor. So that carried over. And I mean, I'll be honest, like I just wasn't the greatest hockey player, right? Skills wise, hands wise, like I had hands like feet, right? Like not the best skater, not the best hockey IQ. I mean, I could, you know, play the game obviously, but I figured out then it all kind of clicked together. I'm like, okay, if I need to continue my playing career or bring some value other than just finishing my checks and being someone who can forecheck relentlessly, I need to learn how to protect my teammates, protect myself, and drop the gloves, right? So
100%. So you kind of like that frustration. I mean, I would felt the same way. You're out there with fucking Patrick Kane, Van Riemsdyk, all these guys, like, and all of a sudden it's like, I was that guy that guys would kind of look, sideways at. When I played in Chicago, Kane and Taze were awesome to me. A couple other guys that were stars there wouldn't even look at me. Thought I was had
yeah,
an alien with three
you
heads.
feel out of place a little bit, right?
100%. And I was
Yeah,
always over the top and trying to overcompensate. So I totally get that frustration. And then finally you fight and you're like, oh shit, Patty and the boys are loving this. Like definitely
yeah.
going to do this more. But where did this, you dropped this tough guy. Like, had you been in fights off the ice? Had you trained boxing, MMA?
No,
Where was this coming from?
I don't know. It was just in me. I mean, obviously, two older brothers who weren't, supportive, obviously, right? But they'd pick on me like any of your older brothers would, right? So, um, but no, I was never in fights at school, um, nothing like that. So it just kind of came out of me. Although, now that we're talking about it, we did have a guy at the U.S. program. Uh, I want to say his name was Kurt or Kirk, but this guy, I think he was a part-time prison guard, part-time boxing trainer. The guy was a lunatic. Awesome dude.
Sounds perfect.
Right, perfect for a group of 17, 18-year-old kids. But he would come in with our strength and conditioning coach at the U.S. program, and every now and then we just do like shadow boxing, jump rope, right, like all the old school boxing training. We always end it with everyone kind of hold plank positions for as long as you can.
Nice.
First guy that drops, you guys got to start over. You got to get to 2 minutes or whatever it was. So we did some boxing training. Everyone did. So that probably helped kickstart some of it too.
Makes sense. Okay, so that frustration's building, kind of like, I got to have my place here. I'm actually at this program. I got to find a way to be valuable. But you touched on that thing you went through in your family and personal life. Did that add to the frustration on the ice?
Yeah, for sure. It just felt like nothing was going in my way at the time. Or at least I wasn't used to having the heaviness of adversity. I mean, my parents, they spent so much time and effort and money on me playing hockey growing up as a kid. And I was pretty successful going all the way through the AAA level. That is, if you have that, you're not probably going through a whole lot of adversity. If you are, it's pretty temporary. At least it was for me. So, looking back at it now, I'm glad I had a lot of adversity to go through. But yeah, the off the ice stuff, yeah, it certainly didn't help. I was trying to understand being away from home, the divorce my parents were going through, trying to understand that. But them not being there, and there being a lot of distractions for them, they couldn't be there for me as much as they probably should have been or could have been. So yeah, it definitely played a role. And I just felt like I wasn't, I felt like I was a fit on the team, but it just wasn't working out, I guess, in how I envisioned it. So, yeah, it played a role, but I was probably lucky that I did have the program there and the team there at that time, because if I didn't have hockey to, distract me, I don't know where, my life would take me.
Right? You're back home. Hockey wasn't as much of a thing for you. You go down, like, hey, I totally am with you on that one, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that, man. Everybody has a fight off the ice. This is a podcast. It's the fights on the ice. We love to get into it, but really it's a door to the fights off the ice. So I appreciate you sharing that, because we all have some kind of family dynamic that's going to add weight to us. And to go move away when you're like the only person in your family that even is playing the game, nobody understands the process really. You move away and then you have that happening. That would have been a little bit of a mind fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And you think back, like you're a 16, 17-year-old kid, and or 18, whatever, and you're so young, and at the time you think you have everything figured out. Where your career is going to go. How college is going to go, but you don't. So, yeah, to be so young and naive on a lot of things, yeah, it's kind of mind blowing to look back at all of it. So,
yeah.
But I go back to the Billet family I had my second year. They were a huge support system for me. She became my second mom. And like I said, I still stay in touch with her. But being able to have a really good, supportive Billet family that I was able to go home to and felt like it was a true home, and I could talk to her about things and she would just listen, and she really kind of had my back on a lot of things. Just personable, and brought a family dynamic that was no longer happening with my true family back home, she was able to replicate that for me. And I lived with another guy, Mike Cieslak, that year, and he was the easiest roommate ever, greatest guy to have as a roommate. So yeah, it was definitely. Just trying to think of the word for it, but yeah, it was a blessing.
100%. Isn't it funny how someone that you know is there for you can just sit there and not say a fucking word other than nod, shake their head, smile, frown with you, and you just pour it out and you feel so much better, man. Like talking, getting this shit off our chests, man.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right. I think I had a lot of, actually a lot of people, but the people that I was in contact with family or people at the program, I was being talked to. They weren't talking with me.
Yes.
But look, at the same time, sometimes you do have to have a talk, right?
For sure. For sure.
They got to tell you. They have to keep they have to keep things real with you and honest, and you got to be accountable on things. But at the same time, I didn't have a lot of people that could be there to listen. But
100%. Well, you were going to need it the next year. I mean, you signed a one-way AHL ticket. Are you thinking I'm playing in the AHL next year and I'm going to go hard? And next thing you know, it's the Wheeling fucking Nailers, dude. 173 penalty minutes in 60 games, dude. You were 20 years old in the fucking jungle of the jungle.
Yeah, I knew nothing about Wheeling. I didn't even know it was a place. I went to the rookie camp in Kitchener with Pitt, and there were 4 games or 5 games. I fought in every one, but I was actually playing really well. It's like heightened juniors, right? You got a few guys that are high draft picks that are either 1 or 2 years out of junior or college. Some have played a handful of games in the NHL or AHL, right? So everyone's relatively the same age. So it's kind of an elevated level of junior hockey.
Yep.
And so, yeah, coming right from Saginaw into that, I couldn't believe it because, a year or 2 years ago, I was with the Steel and had nothing on the radar for anything. And I didn't know, I wanted to keep playing, but I didn't know if anyone would have me. So to get to that tournament, I knew, man, like this might be lightning in a bottle for me. And I really have to kick the door down here. So I knew that I played really good. Their staff and their management, after the tournament told me, hey, we're going to give you a real look and real consideration because you really opened our eyes. I think I probably beat some of their expectations with just how I played. And I played without fear for that weekend. And I don't know if Heinze was there yet. I ended up playing for Heinze in Wilkes-Barre.
Oh, my favorite.
I don't know if he was there in that tournament or not. Todd Reardon, I think, was the head coach. But I knew some guys there, so I had some familiar faces with me. But it also just gave me confidence too. Like I got a lot of confidence going to Saginaw and then going into that tournament. Just naturally, right? Like, shit, like I wanted these guys. They don't have to bring me here. I'm not drafted. I'm, not going to put up goals, right? Like they don't need to. They can win without me, but they see something in me. So, yeah, that tournament gave me a lot of confidence. And then, I don't know how much after it was, but they gave me a AHL deal, and they said, we're going to bring you into camp in Wilkes-Barre. Yeah, pretty much just dependent on how that camp goes will dictate if you're going to be in Wilkes-Barre or Wheeling. So I went through Wilkes-Barre's training camp and just didn't have the jam there. Right, that was another step up. Now you're playing against American League players, NHL players, a lot different than the rookie tournament. So a little bit deer in the headlights, I think, for me at that time. I think like they brought Jesse Boleries into camp that year.
Yep.
Aaron Bugard was there.
Oh, dude, people don't realize Aaron Bugard was tougher than Big Derek.
Yeah. And he and I became buddies. He helped me out a lot. But they're, they had some guys that are on the depth chart, right, for that role.
Yep.
But I just didn't. I didn't play at the same level I did as a rookie camp. So they had me go to Wheeling, and yeah, I mean, we can get into Wheeling if you want, but it's a special place.
It sounds like a special place, but man, like like you said, you enjoyed the role. You genuinely like didn't find too much wrong with it. Like you were always on like a 3 PIM pace, brother. Like if somebody had ever fucking
Yeah.
played you a full season, you'd be leading the league in penalty minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, with Saginaw at that time, going back before going to Wheeling, yeah, I think I had. I mean, I don't know what my numbers are there, but yeah, I
71
mean,
and 20, 71 PIMs, 23 games. Then Wheeling's 173 and 60. Wilkes,
yeah,
11 games, 37 PIMs. Like almost 4 PIMs a game, brother.
yeah. Well, there's some 10-minute misconducts mixed in there too.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, yeah. I was enjoying the role, and like I said, like I should have gone to the OHL probably earlier than I did. Maybe stay an extra year than I had, but it's different, right? Like you asked earlier, like when did you feel like it kind of turned more into a job? And then once I got to Wheeling and Wilkes-Barre and started understanding like the dynamic of pro hockey and how are you not just to be a professional, right? Like taking care of yourself off the ice, nutrition, all that, leading by all that stuff that we all figure out how to be a pro, but trying to understand my role other than just fighting took me a long time. So I enjoyed the fighting, but then as time went on, you got to kind of level up, and you come across guys that are a lot tougher, a lot bigger, a lot meaner. And so I had to kind of climb, that hill as well. But yeah, have you never in the coast? I don't think. Did you ever go to Wheeling? Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse because when you're there, I mean, it's an old coal mining town, right? That has kind of dried up, and awesome people. It's actually beautiful, but yeah, there's not much going on, man. It's just the Wheeling Nailers and people working their 9 to 5 and trying to raise families, and there's really not much else. But yeah, it's a place that like you're not psyched to be there probably for different reasons, but you're also glad that you're there because it's like, wow, like I need to do everything I can to get called up or to get out of here or get noticed by a different team or organization.
100%, dude. So that's when it started to kind of turn. Okay. It's like, it's really interesting. I'm sure the fight fans, after you've had, or you're like 12th, 13th episode, like some guys you can tell love the fighting. Some guys you can tell didn't like it as much. You're a guy that almost seems like he doesn't, but he's telling us he does. Like you're so calm and stuff. Like, where do you, like, you got that inner fire in you, eh? You love it a little bit. Cause I pretended I liked to fight. I sure as hell put on act.
Once I was in the fight, I was fine. Like, like someone like Wrecker, I think he loved to fight. He loved to fight until the refs, like if you watch his fights, like he doesn't stop throwing until like the ref physically separates him from the other guy.
And he's angry.
Like he loves to fight. I would be fine. Like I'll put it to you this way. If I could play 10 games in a row and I didn't fight and I didn't have to, and there was no one to fight, I'd be just as happy and fine with that. I wasn't the type of guy where, oh my gosh, it's been 3-4 games, there's no one to fight, I'm pissed off, I'm going to make someone fight me. Maybe I should have thought that way a little bit more. Maybe it would have helped, but I didn't love it in that sense where I was going to be looking for a fight regardless of anything and everything.
Right.
But yeah, as years went on and I fought more guys that are tougher and more established and intimidating, I didn't love, the 2 minutes before the fight all the time, right? I'm sure you had those where you're telling yourself you can do it, but you're feeling a little shake in the knees, right?
Yeah, you weren't saying
that I didn't love.
You weren't saying no to people, man. Record twice, like Rob Flick, you had a battle with Ben Eager. I watched that battle. Like you were not saying no. The names on your list, dude. So you're backing it up, and I can tell, like you said, if you had played a certain amount of games, you may have not be forcing it, but you were in and out of the lineup a lot, which is crazy, man, because you're so willing. Like usually you go in, you fucking go in, you play well, you fight, you stay in, but you went through some unique places. You go from Wheeling, you go to St. John, dude. What was that like?
It was a highlight for me. Yeah, those 2 years there, those were the best for a lot of different reasons. I mean, I felt like I fit in right away. And just a super unique place to live too. I'm sure you end up playing there on the road.
Never.
No.
I'm so sad about it. I hear so much about it from Terry Ryan.
Yeah, well, you got to just make a trip up there then, just to at least see it.
Seriously.
Yeah, by that point, so that was the lockout year. I started in Colorado.
Wait, I wanted to get to Colorado next. You started in Colorado. Dude, we got to talk about that run before you get to St. John. 12 games, 7 points, 105 fucking pins, dude. How many of those were 10-minute misconducts before you go to St. John? That's what got you to St. John.
I had at least 5 or 6 10-minute tee-ups that stretch. But see, I'd never played in the West, in the Coast, in the Western Conference in the East Coast. So, like, I'm just thinking back, like, there really wasn't anyone there that gave me a second look ever.
Really?
No. Or if they were, we just never played them because I was only there for a short time, right? So,
okay.
Yeah, that year I went in on a two-way with St. John's in Colorado, and there was a couple guys there I already knew, but the coach just ended up liking me after like the second or third game. He wasn't playing me a ton, but then he saw that I could play, and then with every game, like I said, there really wasn't. There's guys to fight. Like Leigh Salters was there, and I had a marathon fight with him in junior when he was in London, and a couple of, but there was no one there to really like get in my face and
really
calm me down. So I just played like an animal. But with the lockout year, I felt like, all right, I can't get called up. I'm here. It's a brand new, fresh start, new organization. That organization was run like an AHL, NHL club. Their facility was awesome. I think they sold out almost every game, like really rich hockey history. And they really took care of us. Like travel was great. So I felt like I wasn't really in the coast, but I was also, like Wheeling, right? Like you're riding on the sleeper bus all the way up to Elmira and back a dozen times during the year. So, yeah, I just felt like a mental refresh that year. Didn't really have much to lose, and I was just playing regular. I mean, I was playing a little bit of power play, maybe a little bit of penalty kill too.
Ooh, baby. Baby.
I say that it's probably like 2 games, but it felt like it felt like the whole season. But I was able to play, and I was able to just keep getting better and getting more confidence, like anyone would. But I had a coach that wanted to use me and knew how. And then, yeah, if something would go haywire, I just snap and grab someone and punch them. And yeah, a couple 10 minutes too there. But yeah, after the lockout ended, I got called up, and I think I fought my first game in Springfield with St. John's, and then I stuck there for the rest of the year. And it's funny, I told someone else this story a while ago, but I grew up playing against Jack Combs. I think he was with California Wave. And we played together in Saginaw. So him and Cody Soul were actually there in Colorado with me.
Yeah, you had a whole bunch of tough dudes. I was looking. Norm Ezekiel. I had so many battles with that motherfucker. So many guys.
Yeah. He didn't back down from anybody. Man, I haven't heard his name in a bit. So, but with Comer, he got called up somewhere, and we both, I think, went to the airport the same day, or we had to go to the rink the next morning to get our stuff. But we were headed out. And he said this in a good way. He's like, "Hey, I hope I never see you again." And I never did. But I knew that he was like excited for me to get a call up and get a shot with St. John's. And so just a little bit of a funny story that always kind of stuck with me. But yeah, I stayed with them the whole year, and St. John's was just an awesome fit. A guy that I played with at the program, John Albert, was there. He was part of their veteran group at the time, and I ended up living with him for both years there. And yeah, I mean, I can go as much into St. John's as you want, but
Sounds awesome, dude. It sounds like a hell of a time. Like, they have all the painted houses for the sailors when they'd come home. There's not much else to do but sit around and drink. What were you like off the ice with the boys? Were you a big drinker, big partier? Like, what'd you like to do away from the rink with the fellas?
there's nothing else to do there. Yeah, there really isn't. But that's, so the first year I got there, I think we were bottom 5 of the league. Not a good team at all, but I got to play a good amount. I ended up tearing my MCL February or March, I think, February, and then came back, played a stretch of games, and then they wanted me to come back, so I signed right away. But that second year, we went all the way to the finals. Part of our success was, I mean, I'm sure a ton of guys have said it, and it's known, right? Like, as close as you are off the ice, it's going to translate to how you play on the ice. So it was a super tight team. That's the best team I've been on. Everyone partied together on the road, at home, and the more we won, the more we would, head out and have a good time. But it wasn't just, cliques of guys or pockets of guys for the night. It was everybody. Guys that had just gotten called up maybe just for the weekend or 2-week stretch, they would come with us, all the wives, all the girlfriends. Everyone was a part of it in St. John. So yeah, we had like a fun rookie party. I think the one year we dressed up everyone in like 1990s era WWF superstars.
Nice.
But the whole city is just behind you, right? Like they really don't have much going on there. Huge hockey fans naturally, right? So every game that we were winning, I don't know how many games we won that year, but we won our division, won the conference, I think. And it's hard not to head out after a homestand win and head out on George Street.
Your goalies were unreal. Hutchison, 17-5. Like, you had Adam Lowry, a lot, like Sherrod, a lot of future NHLers. It looked like a very balanced team. I think that's probably what made it so awesome. You guys were a very balanced scoring team. There wasn't the big superstar and then everybody else doing their job. It was like a very rounded team. But dude, I love that rookie party story, because we hear about hazing and kind of making the guys feel uncomfortable, but why not make them dress up as like something awesome, like WWE guys? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, my rookie party at Iowa University, Mark Hagel, chiropractor in Toronto now, a good buddy of mine. He goes, they did a rookie draft, and I was my rookie year, and he goes, I get Gaber. You know what I'm going to do with Gaber? I'm not gonna put him down in like a girl's outfit or whatever, a baby outfit like the other guys. Let's fire him up. Let's put him in a Batman costume and let him just go crazy. So that's what they did. That's what he did for me. It was the best play, because you got more out of me when you kind of gave me a little love, like Gaber. Like, have some fun, not like, hey, you're in a fucking diaper tonight, bud. Like, I was I like the guys that had fun with it. That they ribbed you, but they cared.
Totally, yeah. No, that'd be a good way to go too, with a superhero. And for us, we did with the guys. So I want to say we were in Providence, but I could be totally wrong on that. But it doesn't matter. So we had a road trip, and on the way to dinner, I think that night, or maybe it was part of a different leg of the trip. So we played one of the Royal Rumbles from the 90s. That no one would know who would win, right? Like, we know most of the wrestlers, right? But like, we all drew out of a hat which wrestler we had.
Nice.
And so I can't remember exactly what happened. If our guy, I think we all threw like 20 or 50 or $100 in a pot, right? And everyone would win. or whoever won would get it. But yeah, like that was just like a little fun thing where, it was more than just, hey, let's pick on the rookies for like, let's do a team bonding thing. Like everyone's like glued to the TVs on the bus watching the 1997 WWF Royal Rumble for the trip.
That's unreal.
So that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
then I think I had to be, I think with Wilkes, we were actually in St. John's for our rookie party, and it was me and 4 or 5 other guys that we were Teletubbies
oh, that's good. That's good.
out for the night. Yeah.
That's a good
So
one.
I'll take that over a diaper.
Kind of in between, like, degrading, but also fun. That's still okay. That's still passable. But dude, I can kind of feel like, how we started kind of at this top was when you were finishing in Rockford. You come from St. John where it's just the tight-knit team. You feel a part of it. Everybody loves each other. And you go to Rockford and you kind of start to see why. You kind of like, yeah, you're not here to talk bad about anybody, but you're like, let's just say I didn't play for the coach. Let's just say there's things going on that I wasn't a fan of. And you find yourself in and out of the lineup, but you played 24 games. You had 6 points, dude, 71 PIMs plus 1. You weren't doing poorly at all when you went in there. Like you said, you were playing well. So what a contrast that must have been from St. John to Rockford.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because I had the experience that you had in St. John in Rockford to end my career.
Okay. Interesting.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, with St. John's, I just found my groove. I finally figured out, I had a lot of guys help me along the way with my role and our role together, right? Like you got to figure out the fighting part, but you also have to figure out, well, what's my value if I'm not fighting? And for a long time, I just thought, all right, well, if I fight, like, what else do you need from me? Like, why do I need to be someone you could use, beyond that? And I kind of put myself even more in a box than I already was, not understanding that if that's all you're going to provide, like it's going to be a short run. So going through all that I went through with Wheeling and Wilkes-Barre, and then I felt like once I got to St. John's at that time in my career, I finally just understood and just learned more about how I can not only stick and be a full-time AHL player, but how I can actually play every game, or at least more than I had prior. So that second year, I mean, I had never played opening night or the weekend. So to start the year, I think I played the first dozen games, and that never happened. Obviously, put a lot of work in the off season and through training camp to earn that spot. So I felt as that season went on, just naturally fit in. I had the right coach. I had the right team. We had an awesome group of veterans with Jason Jaffrey, Andrew Gordon, John Albert, a ton of guys. It's an awesome group. So I was on a really good team. I had true teammates, right? Like to a man, like a really good group of men around me and guys around me that I always wanted to play for them. And they always wanted to. We're a true team, right? But once I got to Rockford, I understood what my role is, what I had to do, and I was just going to rinse and repeat, right? Like what worked in St. John's is going to work here. I've, kind of slowly, graduated into the tiers of what it means to be, a true fourth line power forward, enforcer, whatever, you want to call it. But with Rockford, our group of veterans was solid. And I think a lot of guys, not so much maybe the younger guys, but, like Bass and PC and some of the guys that have been there, they could kind of see through the bullshit that was going on.
Yep.
And we stuck together as a team, but that can only take you so long. Like if you got some guys that are, like we had, I just didn't understand it. Like we had our captain that year. He was there for like 20 games. He was with Chicago, deservingly so. Not a knock on him, but like, if the plan was to have him there for 80% of the season, like maybe that shouldn't be our cap. Like just weird stuff like that. Should he have been captain? Yeah, I think he should have been. But at that time in his career, he wasn't good. He he's not the right guy for that.
Right.
And nothing to take away from him at all whatsoever, but just the decision that just didn't make sense, so things like that. But kind of bring it back to your question on with Rockford. Yeah, it just wasn't a good fit for me at the end of the year. There was times where I was healthy, I hadn't played in a while, and they signed a couple of guys out of the coast and then plugged them into the lineup. And then to me, it's like, hey, great for that guy. Like, he's getting a shot. He didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize that. Like, I would help them out. But when I leave the rink, it's like, what the fuck is going on? And then it's another 7-8 game stretch. And it's, I couldn't figure it out. So I know we were texting earlier about Kevin Delaney, right? So like having a guy like him where I could go to and talk to and actually want to work on things with him before or after during practice was great. And so, he was a bright spot for sure for that season.
Ryan Schnell, is that you? Oh God. So everybody who doesn't know, Kevin Delaney was like the skills coach for Rockford, NHL a bit. And I mean, you had such a diametrically opposed experience in Rockford that I did. Like if I didn't have that locker room there with Garrett Mitchell, Ryan Stanton, I was the other vet, and then 20 other kids that were under 23 who just listened to us like little eager younger brothers. Like I would have walked off the team. I would have walked out of my life. Like, yeah, they really made it worth it. But Kevin Delaney, dude, when he is one of the quirkiest people in hockey you'll ever meet, people, but he just is so comfortable in his skin. He's always telling stories. He's telling us he drives like a bus of kids everywhere. We're like, what are you talking about? Like, he's just every morning, Curtis Gabriel, are you awake, sir? Like crazy weird voice. Like, I love I love that guy. So
would he play music on the loudspeaker for you guys, like after skates?
I think he kind of was like on the more, like, he didn't do as much when I was with him. He was very much a kind of like popped in, popped out. He was probably more involved with you guys. I wish he was. Yeah.
Well, when he would run his camps in the summer and I'd help him out, or when I would just skate with him too with a small group, I mean, we'd have like 8 a.m. skates and he'd just be blaring like Led Zeppelin the whole time, doing drills and
fucking awesome.
Yeah. Every square inch he could find to insert fun, he did it. Like one time we went to the rink in the summer for one of those morning skates, and I'm walking from the parking lot. It's quiet out, birds are chirping, it's a nice morning. And then I get closer and closer to the lobby doors and I start hearing like a mariachi band playing. Like, what the fuck? So I go into the lobby, no one's there. Like there's someone cleaning the floors and opening up the arena, and turn the corner, and Kevin has a 5-piece mariachi band in full get up doing the whole thing. And then of course I know right away it's Kevin, but I walk into the locker room, get dressed and see him, and he's like, yeah, why not have a mariachi band today? Like just random stuff to keep you not thinking about the work you're going to have to put in or the work you don't want to do, or just, who loves, the early morning summer skates in the off season. But
that's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
That's a great little transition out though. Like you had the shit time, but you found someone like that. You know what I mean? Like talk about like, because then you were doing the real estate. At least he's keeping you kind of happy. You're happy for the guys getting called up and plugged in the lineups and stuff. But like, then you're thinking, like you said, in the summer, if I don't get much, whatever, and you moved on with your life. It just got too much of the bullshit.
Yeah, look, I could have kept playing. I again,
for sure.
It's so easy to say, could have done this, should have done that, should have signed there. Yeah. I would have loved to just go and have a fun season, just play hockey, don't care about anything, and go over to Europe somewhere, didn't matter what league or what country, just to have that experience. Or, I could have gone back to the coast too, but I just didn't want to. I was, I had been fighting mentally and literally fighting my way to get to the level I was. And I felt like I didn't want to feel like I was going backwards, but I understand too later in life, like sometimes you have to prove yourself again. I probably had a little bit of um, what's the word? I was probably just too stubborn to think, you know what? Yeah, you didn't get the deal you wanted after the Rockford season. You may have to go somewhere you don't want to go and prove it all over again. But I didn't want to do that. I just was mentally um, done with it. I don't want to keep having to fight 12, 15 times a year, play once every 7 game. I mean, dude, I probably did more black ace practice skates and pregame warm up skates than fucking games I played. Like, that's not fun. After doing it for 6 years, at barely league minimum, it wears off. And then add on top of coming to a place like St. John's to a place like Rockford, is what it is. But all that mixed together, just like, yeah, I think I'm good. I knew that I kind of hit my peak in my career and definitely wasn't going to be an NHL player. And I was able to do any camps with Pittsburgh and Chicago, and I was always pretty real with myself. Like, that's not the level I'm going to be able to get to. And then going through those camps, it was evident, like, right, that's a whole nother level. But yeah, I was ready. I just couldn't keep going through, hey, you're not playing tonight. Hey, we're going to have you up with the Black Ace squad for a month. Just practice. Like, all I did was practice and watch more than play. So, sometimes that's part of it. But for me, doing it for 6 years, and like I said, just seeing some of the things that would happen where I felt like I deserved more of a shot and I didn't get it. I could have gone back down. I think I told Bernie or someone at Rockford, they were like, hey, if you want, you can go play some games. Because I was literally scratched, like I said, for like 25 games straight. So by like game 15, game 18, they're like, hey, if you want to go play down in Indy, just let us know. And at that point, I was too stubborn. It was just too like, fuck no. Like, no, if I want to, I'll tell you, but I'm not doing it. And I was like, I'm not going down there.
That's it, man. It's a double-edged sword, our stubbornness that gets us there, and then those things. But I would have done the same fucking thing, brother. I would have done the same thing as you, and I'm proud of you, man. Like, you're a fucking warrior. Like, you're a fucking warrior. You played as honest as it gets, and that's. I mean, Basser came on before you and talked about that coach and the shit that went down a little more in depth. Like, totally understand, man. I almost got to fight with that guy between fucking every whistle and like going to intermission, like loose cannon. So. Yeah, I respect the decision, man. I really do.
Yeah, it was, again, not to beat a dead horse here at all. But yeah, I believe everything in life definitely truly does happen for a reason. And there's a reason why that year, before I really even started, well, maybe it was right in the beginning, but very early on in the season, I decided, all right, let me try and get my real estate license. So, the stars aligned for that, right? I had something afterwards already lined up. And if it was a great year, or if I had more of an opportunity I was interested in and attracted to, I would have jumped on it. But I felt like I had done everything I really wanted to do at that point. And, at that time, I'm fighting you, I'm fighting Ben Eager, Wrecker, Gallant, Pat Weller. Like, dude, I don't need to take another right hand or left hand.
No, you got to keep that face for fucking real estate.
And it's lights out. So
that's it. So talk about the transition, man, because I mean, it's a big part of my platform. I went through absolute fucking hell and back. Like, what was it like for you in this situation with what you went through? You had something to step into. Were you a guy that liked studying? Were you passionate about real estate? What was this transition like out of the game that you've done since such a young age?
Yeah, not a study guy. Not a good test taking individual. But yeah, I loved real estate. I really did. I'd lived down in the city in the off seasons and got to know some people that were doing it. And the firm I ended up joining, didn't know this guy was there, but in the first couple of months, there was a guy there who ended up just taking me under his wing. And he was a hockey guy. Never, I don't think he played beyond high school or college, but just an awesome dude. One of the top real estate guys at the firm, and he just took me under his wing. He was like, "Hey, if you want to live in my spot, live with me. I have a condo that's open." Like he was super welcoming and just brought great structure to me. But the transition wasn't too bad. Um, Mentally, I was obviously ready for it, right? Like I was kind of prepping for it to happen soon. I knew I wasn't going to play for that much longer. And then once it was definitive, I was like, all right, I can sink my teeth even further into this. But yeah, I had a real big passion to do it. I was focused on um, leasing out commercial spaces, right? So if there's restaurants or, you know, grocery stores or pizza shops or whatever have you, right? Brick and mortar, first level commercial spaces, would lease those out on either side, the landlord side or the tenant side. So I enjoyed learning though. I enjoyed having something that, I didn't go to college and high school diploma after high school really wasn't spending time activating my brain on learning a whole lot. Right.
Just getting it punched.
Yeah. So with what I had left, try to apply it to really understand just the business. And what I liked about it was just you can kind of see, especially at that time in the city in Chicago, was how much development was always going on in different pockets. And you could see that if you bring a certain tenant to this neighborhood or this community, like how that affects people's lifestyles, or that's a place you yourself can go. And
Mm,
it continues to kind of pay dividends, right? And building relationships with people. If this person opens up a restaurant, well, maybe they'll want to do it over in this neighborhood in a couple of years. So yeah, just starting to grow a professional network. I really enjoyed it. And the guy, David Goldberg, who I ended up linking up with, really took care of me and really just took me under his wing and kind of showed me the in and outs of the different, you know, areas of the business itself. And yeah, he invested a lot of time in me. And then, I did that for about 2.5 years. And ever since then, for the last 10 years, I've been in a sales role with a staffing firm that was in Chicago, and still doing that, still enjoying it, still doing well. So
that's beautiful, man.
it's
Talk
working.
about life away from the rink. Did you have a partner, girlfriend throughout your career? Did you have kids? Like where? And you're living in Rochester now, right? So what's life look like
Yeah.
today for Ryan Schnell?
Yeah. Settled down in Rochester. My wife is from this area. And we moved here in 2021. So once COVID started, we were living together in Chicago, recently married. And yeah, man, I mean, the world was a dark place, right? Like COVID happened. Um, I was working remote from home. She ended up being furloughed with her company, unfortunately. And we wanted to start a family. And it was like, well, probably not going to start in Chicago with everything that was going on. Um, we need to be closer, we want to be closer to her family at some point, and COVID expedited that. Um, you know, what are we going to do? Are we going to move? Where are we going to work? So we had a lot to figure out and sort out, but it's been awesome. We've been here for 5 years, and it's a great place to raise a family. A ton of hockey here. My oldest, 3 kids. My oldest is 5, and he's starting to play. He'll be in mites this upcoming year.
Nice.
So it's nice to have a home where, and he'll obviously, all the kids will play whatever they want, but it's nice to have a really solid hockey environment near us where, it's, there's always ice available.
That's what's great about Rochester, and you're not too far from me. But you did a little coaching of hockey players a little bit, so you kind of have that background. What was that like going behind the
Fun.
bench?
Yeah, it was cool. It's nice to be on the other side, and I felt like a passion for the game that I didn't have for a while. I coached the U18 Chicago Mission, I think, for 2 seasons as an assistant coach. So yeah, to be able to just be on the other side of it, right, where now you're helping kids in their journey and early on, and a lot of those kids moved on to play juniors or college, and it was nice to have kind of a reset with hockey itself in the game. I mean, I still love the game. I always follow it, always watch it. it'll always be a part of my life. It kind of has brought me everything. But it was really rewarding to see how kids will listen and apply to what you're trying to help them with, and then see the result of that. And then for me, just to have that, like we did a trip up to Shattuck St. Mary's, and I was as fired up for that game as I was going into Hershey on a
Let's
Saturday.
go.
Yeah, like just because as a kid, like I grew up, I went to Shattuck, played against whatever year it was, they won the national championship. Like they had an absolute unbelievable team and program there. Everyone knows about it. So I knew what that meant and knew how it was important for our team at the time and the group of kids that we had. So yeah, I was super fired up for that. I mean, I would have gone out and played. I think I actually lost my voice by the end of the game. So it's fun. It's fun to be a coach. I just, for me, as you were, right, and everyone, you're so handcuffed to the schedule and the demands of travel and everything that the game has. And COVID stopped it, right? Once COVID hit, our season was done. I haven't coached since. My son or other kids continue to play and want to play. I'll help out if it makes sense for me. But I wanted to also have, when I was done playing, part of it too, I wanted to have a life that I hadn't have yet, right? Where I'm not trying to see if it fits into my schedule or the hockey schedule, right? So, what I do now with work and with my wife's work and our family, we have a lot of autonomy with our careers, and we have her family support here. So we're able to make, things work with our schedules and do things and travel. And, for 26 years, wasn't really able to do a lot of that stuff.
I know, right? We were like cattle with numbers on us, man. That's so true. Well, it sounds like you're doing fucking awesome. So what would you say to that kid, first year moved away from home, USNDP, parents going through their struggle? What would you say now if you had to coach that kid, and what lessons you've learned in your life that you now, would say to that kid and you're passing down to your children?
Oh, man. Oh, I could go a lot of ways with that question.
Where's your heart take you?
Yeah, I guess I'd just say, just do it. I wouldn't say do what I did, but I would, the action of just keep showing up. Like I could have easily said, what Saginaw was calling, nah, I'm good. Like, it's not going to work out. Like, I had no idea what the hell was going to happen when I left. Well, I didn't know what the heck was going to happen after I wrapped up the U.S. national program. I had no idea. But, Jason Kohler was a fan of me and brought me into this deal. And I had to, kind of swallow my pride a little bit. Like, yeah, you're not ready you need more time in juniors. So I just showed up for that season, and I had no idea what was going to happen. And then as time went on there, nothing really surfaced for the next opportunity, that next level. But one day, right, same guy, hey, you should come to Saginaw. And I didn't know what was going to happen, but I kept just showing up. So I guess I'd just say, to my kids or anyone, if you really love something, it's the game or whatever it is, just keep showing up, and you just never know what will happen, right? And the other thing too is, especially with the game of hockey, you just need one team to really like you, or one person, right? Like for my whole junior career is really, post the U.S. program, the same guy kept calling, trying to find me, and brought me into two teams. Like you only play for one team at a time, right? Unless you're obviously traded or whatever. But you only need one team or one management to really like you, to have a home somewhere. So yeah, just keep showing up, and don't have to convince everyone that you're going to be a fit for them. You just need one spot.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So on our podcast, I have this conversation with you, and then I jump on afterwards for 30 minutes with my dear brother, Ben, and we talk about like what your story brings up in us. And I already know what he's going to be talking about, of just, he talks about people trying to change their lifestyle or make, try to climb the hockey ranks. Just so keep showing up to the workouts in the morning when Delaney's playing with the mariachi band. Find people that support you, but keep showing up. He's like, he always tells the story of a guy who had lost weight and gained weight and lost weight and gained weight. And finally said, screw it. I don't care. I'm never going back. He just went to the gym for 2 months straight for 5 minutes. He walked in the gym every morning at the same time, talked to the receptionist, sat on the bike, sat on the couch, and left, and just built the habit of showing up. Because you can't always see that next step in front of us or 2 steps ahead. Sometimes you can't even see the one right in front of you, but you got to kind of take that step before it appears underneath your foot. And you show up, you get in that arena, then you can start putting to use what you learned growing up and your passions, right?
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And if you don't show up, nothing will happen. So you might as well give yourself a chance, right?
That's it, man. Dude. It's so interesting talking to different guys, their different experiences. There's so many unique parallels. There's so many differences as well. But I'm just so happy you're doing well. Like, you haven't talked about like lingering injuries too much. I'm sure you had some, but like nothing that's bothering you too much. Like, you got the wife, the 3 kids, like starting hockey. It's amazing.
Yeah, body's doing okay. I'm still really big into fitness and taking care of myself, and I enjoy that. I always have. I mean, as a kid, like, we had an unfinished basement in the one side. My dad just threw all his old weights and equipment in there, and I would always tinker around with it. I mean, I've been lifting weights since I was, I don't know, probably like 10 years old, 11 years old. So, I got some space here in my house where I'm able to work out, and body's okay. I mean, the knees are probably not the greatest, right? I've tore both MCLs. Over time and rehab them. So I got to give them a little extra TLC every now and then. But yeah, I just try to stay active. And I did play a men's league game, and the body was feeling it after that. I played a game in December, and you probably won't be surprised, but all the old habits came back. Like, by the second period, guy just being a ding dong, running around, stick was everywhere. I just fucking snapped at him and whacked him in the back of the leg and just gave him his warning. And then, no one's there. There's no crowd. So, like, once the whistle blows, it's dead quiet. And the ref is like, 2 minutes, slash it. Like, you gotta go in the, like, let's go. And like, headed over there. But yeah, nothing changed at all, right? Like, that's probably why I haven't really played much, and I'll just stick to, playing around the house and at, kids sports with them. But yeah, I'm not looking to get back into playing a men's league just because I know I'm too much of a psycho. Something's going to happen.
I love it. You can't take the bite out of that dog, the bark out of the dog. Okay. So last question, what would you say to guys out there who are playing with a tough guy that's in and out of the lineup, to a fan that's a fan of the team that kind of focuses on the scorers more than the guys who are doing the dirty job? Like, what would you say to those people about doing the role, and just some advice to them around those types of guys like us that care so much?
Like a player himself who's
like a player on the team who sees his fellow teammate who's like, I said, the guys looked at me like I had 3 heads, or the fans, they don't really give a shit about the guys. They don't really know what we go through, the extra skates, the passion that we have that's through the roof. And I would arguably say sometimes it's exceeds some other guys because we had to do things they wouldn't do to be there. What would you say to people that look at our role maybe from a different lens?
Man, got me thinking here. I'd say to the guys on the team that see someone like us going through it, I would say, if it's not happening, make them feel part of it, to be a teammate, right? Like, at the end of the day, you're kind of, in a way, like, you're stuck with that room. And you're not going to love everyone. You're not supposed to love everyone. You're not going to like every single teammate you get, but it's going to be so much better if you're just, hey, man, like, come out to lunch with us. Hey, let's go grab a beer. Hey, we're going to Thursday we're off. Let's go see, movie in the theater. Like, we're going to go bowling and have some beers. Like, just, and if someone doesn't want to be included or wants to do it, then that's on them. But If those things aren't happening, I just say, you're on the team, you're on the team. Whether you think someone deserves to be there or you think they shouldn't be there, or you know, it's a role that you think is bullshit, whatever. Just be a good teammate, right? Um, like so there, and I go back to one story if we have some time here, but I don't know why, but there was a guy that I played with at St. John's the second year, Cody Lample.
Okay.
Awesome dude. I don't know if you know him. Like me, right? Like didn't play every game. He was a defenseman, hard nosed player, really responsible. Like I liked his game a lot. But mostly a AHL player, ECHL player like me, and then found a spot in St. John's. And I don't know what happened during the year, but I just never really, for some reason, gave him like the time of day. I don't know why. And shame on me for that. Like it wasn't. I mean, if guys are listening to this, they might say, I was a complete asshole to him. I don't think I was an asshole to him, but we just kind of butted heads. We just kind of stuck in our own lanes. And, like we never had like a blowout. We just weren't buds, right? But then finally, like one night towards like the middle of the season, we were just out one day. We just started chatting, and then from then on, like we're buddies, right? So, but I think it. To answer your question, if you're someone on a team like that, everyone's human, right? Like again, you don't have to love the person, but just have them be part of the group, and that's just going to make everything better. Because when everyone's together pulling in the same direction, it's hard to not have some type of success. And with the fans too, like, I don't know how to answer that one. I mean, I always had good interactions with the fans. We do a lot of stuff we probably don't feel like doing, but at the same time, you kind of have to remember without people paying what they pay for a ticket and how the business works, how the game works, like we have nowhere to play. So, I don't know. For the fans, I guess it's the same, right? Just keep showing up.
No, seriously, like that's a huge wisdom piece there. Just keep showing up, man. I think it's so true. I think it's so accurate. Be a fucking Kevin Delaney is really the fucking answer. Be a guy who will sign up pay for a mariachi band at 6 a.m. for kids working out, chasing their dreams, being like, hey, let's make sure we're having fun here, Curtis.
Yeah.
That voice.
Yeah. Guys like Kevin are great. I mean, he's someone that if guys can have a little bit of a Kevin Delaney element in them, they'll be surrounded by plenty of people.
Oh, you're never going to be without people, or success is just going to stick to you when you're Kevin Delaney. He does so many different things. He's telling me different ventures every time we talk. He's amazing. So, dude, this was incredible, man. It was so nice to get to know you. I really like not talking as much before when we're setting these up, to just get on and just talk to you for the first time on here. I find it so fun, man. So you're a wicked dude. We would have got along great. We would have battled I would have been so jealous of the freaking specimen you were. We would have been practice fighting all the time. It would have been great.
Oh man, I did. I think so. I think you're similar like me, right? Like you're like what, 6'3"? How tall are you? 6'4"?
I was 6'4", but I had to eat my face off to be 215 and
Oh wow,
10% body fat. I was skinny, dude. When I
was
fighting,
man, you were like me. You're tall. You had length. You had long arms and could reach and grab guys, right? So, who would you practice fight with for the most part?
The most in my life who I practiced fought with was honestly probably Curtis McDermott. And he was like short kid coming into Owen Sound. His dad's the owner of the team. They brought him in. I'm like, okay, is this guy going to be good? And he just kept growing. And then turns out later on, we have some not so nice run-ins as opponents in pro, and we finally fight in the NHL, and he splits my face wide open. So I wish I had that one back, but we practiced a lot.
Okay.
How about you?
In Wilkes-Barre, I did quite a bit. Jesse Boulerice was there. Steve McIntyre was there for a stretch.
Oh my God, it's Mac.
And Mac was helping me out like with my grab. And I shit you not, he like slowly was doing like grabs with me and show me different techniques and everything. And he kind of let one go. And I kind of like went in to grab myself. And I'm not kidding you. It wasn't even like a fully closed fist, but he just nudged me in the face. And I like shot back like, all right, let's go do something else. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good here. Like, he is dangerous.
He's a dangerous man. Like, let's go work on cutbacks, Mac. I don't need your freaking, he guy like does rodeo and like wrestles like cows to the ground and all that shit. He's like over.
Yeah. No, he's a different breed. Who else? I play with Andrew Lord quite a bit. We always mess around after practice, but I don't know. There's guys on every team a lot, but Bowler-Reese was good. He was a good guy for me to learn from.
Jesse Bowler-Reese. He's got one of those moments like me. His is a lot cooler than mine. I got fucking punched in a hallway by Vince Dunn. He got fucking that crazy one punch from Downey. That was a wild fight. But hey, we all have those experiences, man. But dude, this was awesome, man. This was awesome.
This was fun. Yeah, thanks for setting it up.
No problem. Like Granter yesterday, guys like the AHL guys are a lot of fun. People always ask me, I was on another podcast guesting, and they're just like, you ever have a guy who didn't want to fight in the NHL? And I'm like, fuck no. The Never Hungry League? No. I had a problem when I had to fight guys in the Always Hungry, dude. That's where people were the real tough guys, So to connect with you, man, it was awesome. I remember going to that game and being like, there's all these Lambus and Bass, and I'm just, geez, I'm like, let me try Schnell out. Let's try Schnell out. Like, I was always chasing Mash around because I knew him a bit, and he, for some reason, didn't want to fight me because we knew each other. He didn't like fighting like us a little bit, But I was like, yeah, Schneller, let's give him a go. So I appreciate you obliging and going with my mind.
Hey, he twisted my arm, man. He just couldn't take enough for an answer. Like, for the record, I did not hit John Curry.
You did not hit John Curry. It is plain as day. I chirped the shit out of myself in that content I made, so I get you. Don't worry.
That's funny. Yeah. Shit, I just forgot what I was going to say. Too many shots to the head here. No, man. Yeah, it was awesome chatting with you. I'm really glad you set this up, and keep doing your thing, dude. It's fun to see, fun to watch.
Thank you very much, brother. Namaste. Good luck to your little man starting hockey, and good luck with the family going forward, brother.
Awesome. Appreciate it, dude.
Appreciate it. Unreal.
Hey, Ben here from After the Bell and the Fight Plan podcast. I'm really excited to announce that I've been working with Gabriel on something we call the Next Arena. Now, this is built for somebody who's going through transitions in life, whether that be leaving the game, changing careers, or just looking to move forward with a little bit more purpose and a little bit more structure. We'll be announcing more on this soon, but until then, back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the After the Bell Fight fans. We got our boy Ben Myers here. Namaste, brother. Thank you so much, as always. How the hell are you today after this episode, brother?
Dude, Schneller's has me feeling really grounded, and there was something about his entire story that just felt so relatable. Like you could almost just see yourself in his story going through the obstacles, and that's what I love about the podcast is you're able to insert yourself into other people's stories and really see that we're all kind of going along our own journeys, but together.
Beautiful, brother. And I know you said you listened to it kind of nice and easy laying in bed, and he did have that calm, grounded masculine in him, didn't he? Like something we're all trying to like push back against, the manosphere, this and that. It's just like he just came on and we just kind of celebrated a beautiful journey through hockey. It didn't have the glitz and glamour as some other people, but that's what made it beautiful. That's what made it relatable. And I think anybody watching that could be like, oh, that's kind of like was my path through school. That was my path through getting my degree. That was my path through my business career. And he just happened to do it in a very violently but calm way.
You know what's really cool? It's weird because I'm sure I'm going to speak for him, and I don't mean to put words in his mouth, but it seems like he probably had something to prove his whole entire life. During this episode, I felt like he had nothing to prove. It was one of those things like, yeah, this is my story. I celebrate. I'm kind of excited to talk about it on this kind of a platform and just to like relive it a little bit. And I think this is going to really relate to the people who are going through maybe inside their journey and realizing that, hey, yeah, you got to fight and claw. And as he mentioned, just never stop showing up. But also like your ego doesn't have to get in the way to tell this big grandiose story. Your story is worth telling exactly how it is.
Oof. So good, man. So good. And everybody's at different points of their spiritual path. I know you and me both really lean into that. Nobody could possibly ever live our unique life. Nobody's ever looked at things the same way with the same experiences in the same sequential order. You know, Michael Singer, my teacher, always talks about what happens if you're driving when you're a kid and you look out one window and you see an ice cream truck. But that same you looked out the other window and saw a car crash and got traumatized. We don't know what your experience is, but we all can find ourselves in it because we're all living our unique one for the first time, it seems. So I just love that, dude. We both lean into that. No matter who comes on this podcast, I don't care who, there's going to be something that is beautiful about their journey. And honestly, the more we lean into this journey, we'll see that every single moment is.
You saw how much beauty was in his story the entire time. The mariachi band showing up, all of these things in places that maybe weren't his favorites. And I think that shows for us too is how do we make the best of what feels like either a mundane or a bad situation? That doesn't mean that the bad situation doesn't exist, right? It just means where's the light inside of it? Where's the lesson inside of it? Where's the presence? It's we have to train ourselves to look for and find those things because if we don't, fear is going to be the dominant thing. Our brain is going to be so wired to finding it because it's the thing that spikes our cortisol, our adrenaline the most. So our body fights and reacts the most to it. But if we learn that in the moments that maybe aren't our favorite, to find the love, to find the light, to find the gratitude and the joy, we're going to literally rewire our brain, our neural pathways, create new neuroplasticity to rewire everything to find those things and maybe the not best of moments.
Dude, so true. The more I keep going down this path, it's all just a story we're telling ourselves. It's all like, and it sounds so silly. We put it in the WhatsApp community. You've obviously done it because you're so tapped in multiple times, but writing out your story of what you think you are and where you're at right now. Write that story out in its raw realness, the good, the bad, the ugly, the parts you're struggling with, and really look at that and go, okay, that's where I'm at. Now, I'm telling you, everyone out there, you can then go write another story exactly how you want, and you can choose to live that. It just sounds so batshit crazy that it's that easy. It sounds so wild and cringy. I'm going to sit down and write my new story. I'm going to write this fable, this fairy tale. It's like, I'm literally telling you to do that. Like, I'm literally saying it is all a conditioned pattern that you are just believing. How many times in your life have you seen something and been like, absolute, I'm never doing that. You were so finite and closed-minded about it. And then you have an experience that completely shifts your perspective through awareness. And now you, like, I'm looking at me with tomatoes. I love ketchup and pasta sauce, but I hated raw tomatoes. Now I can just honk into a whole tomato with the burger because my perspective's changed. Things have changed. Nothing is finite, people. Nothing is absolute. You can program yourself to live the life you want.
How many of us have had those aha moments and not seen them because we didn't practice seeing them? Right? How many of those aha moments came knocking at our doors and said, "No, get away. I'm looking for the aha moment." And it's literally just like, "Brother, sister, homie, I am what you're looking for." And you go, "No, no, move." If we don't write those stories, do the visualization, sit in silence, meditate, whatever anybody wants to call it, I don't really care. You're never going to know when it shows up because you didn't practice for it. You think Schnellers, yourself, anybody, a top tier sales executive, a C-suite level, has gotten to where they were without practicing anything? No, if you want that dream life, if you want that narrative to change, if you want to see things and have more peace and joy and love, you have to practice peace, love, joy, all of the things before you ever have the fundamentals of being able to do them.
And Ben, what happens when those things we quote unquote want keep showing up without our recognition? What do they tend to do after that?
What do they tend to do if they keep showing up? They stop coming because they're like, why would I come here? Why would I show up if you don't see me? We're going to have to reset everything until you get the very first trail, the very first step, which is going to look nothing like it, which is all, it's okay too. That's all part of our journey. But if you ignore it long enough, that version of it will go away and it will start to show up in more, we'll call it painful life.
That's what I was pointing to right there, brother. Whatever it is for you, those opportunities that seem not so ideal, but they're actually what you've always been asking for, an opportunity to become them, they either go away, they get louder, they get angrier, they get more blaring. Then you start going, why is my life falling apart? It's because you're not participating in it equally to expand. You are not looking to grow past where you are. You don't just get given things on the platter. And preparing for this episode a little bit and thinking about it and how you keep showing up no matter what. And that's what Schneller did, regardless if it was NDP, Chicago Steel, Saginaw, his pro career. The ego says, show me where this leads and I'll commit. Mm. Life says, commit and I will show you where this leads. That is exactly what we're talking about here. We think it's inverted. Why? Because it's a story that your conditioning and my conditioning and Ben's conditioning had told us up until that point. Me and Ben are just sitting here, haven't seen through that shit just a couple more times, and we just get really excited talking about it.
You know, I love talking about the secret sauce, and George Michael's had it figured out. You got to have faith. You have to have this blind faith that it will work out beyond your wildest dreams. The problem with faith is we want to be able to predict what faith looks like. That's not faith. That's not faith. Faith is just having this feeling, this knowing, this absolute understanding that it's going to work out beyond any way I could probably think of it, bring it up. But if you don't visualize and start tapping into what faith and it working out feels like in your body, once again, it's going to knock on your doorstep and you're going to tell it to piss off. Because you're going to think it's something else. You're going to think it's not. You wanted a green Corvette to show up in your car, in your driveway, but it's a red one. You're like, no. I wanted a Corvette, but not this Corvette. Like, we have to tap in, visualize, and have faith that this is working out beyond our wildest dreams.
Oh, people, getting what you want is so fucking overrated. It really is. What would happen if everything just went the way you expected? That would be boring as hell. It's playing the video game with the cheat codes. And Dr. Lisa Miller, for all the scientific folks out there, like my mind needed in the past, at Columbia University, the Mind Body Institute, she's literally studying these things. And she's really put data to these kind of principles. But she's like, we want that red door. Like we wanted that green Corvette. We want that door. We want it the way we want it. But when that closes, and to be honest, from my experience, it always closes. Or if it doesn't, it's setting you up for the next one to be closed, just getting your excitement going. There's always a yellow door. And you don't know what's on the other side of that yellow door. But let me tell you, in my lived experience, I picked a yellow door every fucking time now because I know it's just going to be something out of a hat that is something I couldn't even possibly predicted, yet it's going to be perfect for me. That's what's been programmed in now. It's like candy. It's like an amusement park every moment out here, man.
Do you know why the yellow door is the one you choose now? Do you know what the secret ingredient behind all of that is?
Sounds like secret sauce from Ben, but let me know.
That secret sauce is you're following the highest excitement. The red door was expected. It was almost, I'm choosing red door out of fear because I have to do this. I have to have this. Now you go, I don't know what's behind that yellow door, but that seems like fucking fun. Yeah. I want that yellow door. It could be just, a little Skittle behind it. And you wanted, the Hershey's chocolate mountain or fountain or whatever it is. But you're choosing the yellow door because you're feeling that pull and excitement to it. Who gives a shit what's behind it? If that's where your highest excitement is, fucking follow it. Dude, you're getting me all, I don't like to say it, you're getting me jazzed up.
I know, it's flowing right now. We both can feel it. We can feel it, dude. Oh, man. This is why we need After the Bell as part of this podcast. It has to have an outlet. It has to flow somewhere. Like, in the spiritual path, they say, the way is not difficult for the one who has no preferences. In my mind, as Michael Singer used to say, it just has a field day with that. How can I have no preferences? This is what I like, this is what I don't like. And people go looking to kind of shed these preferences and get rid of them. But he's like, that's not the approach I took. I tried that. It wasn't working. And he said, You know what's the way to approach this? Truly, is that if you don't want anything, it's like already having everything. And it's if you prefer everything, then you don't have any preferences because you love everything. It's this opposite paradoxical way that, again, our brain just thinks that doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. Gabe's and Ben, they're crazy. Well, I don't know. This is all that's coming through, is that it's this delusional optimism that, thank goodness we can talk about this in today's day and age with science behind it, because it's real, people. It's real. If you don't think something's possible, you will not ever reach it.
What is real? That's, but it's, you're seeing the connection between science, religion, spirituality. They're all saying the same shit. It's just, what flavor do you like to drink? It's all of the same stuff. It's what you see, what you think becomes your reality. Where you put your belief is what you create. All of the stuff, right? It's all saying the same things. But what we're realizing is we're allowed to have different, as you're saying, like preferences, but realizing that your preference isn't the only one. And if it's not that you're not allowed to have preferences as a human being and stuff like that. No. It's your attachment to the preference. That it's the only preference that exists. That Gabe's preference is not as good as my preference. No. It's recognizing there's an attachment, and you get defensive about the stuff, even to yourself, is that's not good enough. That's not what I want. That's better. It's like, well, what if everything's wonderful? I know we're going to talk about, if there's a whole bunch of, whether it be trauma, abuse, and stuff to say that's wonderful, is like there's lessons in growth and love behind it that can come through it and from it. If we can just train to understand that we're labeling preferences as good and bad, and they're just moments. They're just moments where this next moment is when you stop listening to this and we stop recording this, there's going to be another moment. So just be present in the preference and not the attachment to it.
Yes. And I think for me, how I arrived at that is getting into why I even have preferences. Like, why does someone like red instead of blue? Why does someone like sherbet instead of vanilla ice cream? Why? Why is that, people? And people, the top of brain, the easy condition answer is because I like it. It feels good. Okay. Why does it make you feel good? Let's dive into that, because I've done this, people, writing a book, doing this journey. I've dove into every single preference of why. So let's take my food journey of this incessant need to just stuff myself with food, the best tasting things all the time. It hid in the plain sight of being an athlete. Oh, he's skinny. He has to eat a lot. I have a preference for overeating this Meat Monkey Space Up because I was raised by my amazingly loving Scottish grandparents, who every time I went over there, we had a damn feast like it was medieval times. And they cook up a 10-pound bag of potatoes for a dinner and a breakfast for us. That's how much we ate. My granny's just loading on my plate. This boy's got 2 hollow legs. I'm like, fuck yeah, I do, granny. Give me that shit. Okay. And it's because not only it was made with love, it was around love. It, now I know, went down through my throat, filled up my stomach, and regulated my vagus nerve, which is our fight or flight mechanism. It literally turned off fight or flight and turned on peace and harmony, even though I'm stuffed. So I start to relate overstuffed, gorged feelings with love. So what do I do later in life? What am I doing in Iowa? Stuffing down ribs and burnt ends and chicken wings by myself, dripping sweat all over the place. It's because of that. That's why we have preferences, brother. What is this bringing up for you?
Same thing, man. That's really funny. I just had this vision of you dripping sweat in this barbecue joint all by yourself, and just barbecue sauce all over your face, and being like, throwing down the napkin and be like, whew, that was worth it. And knowing you now is so funny to think of that. But you mentioned a lot of really good things there. I just worked with a client yesterday, and they worked through, and I'm so freaking proud, and they worked through an eating disorder, but it's had consequences in the way their metabolism works now. And they're getting like metabolic rates tested and stuff like that. They're in the fitness industry now, and they've really transformed. Like, I'm so fucking proud of this person. And their outlook was, oh, look, my actions had consequences in the long term. Now I need to do things a little bit differently. Whereas in the past, they weren't going to be able to hear that type of news without it triggering everything. But recognizing the preferences and the actions and the thoughts, they do have consequences down the line, but they don't define you. Like that those eating habits, they didn't define you. They were out of love and they were out of safety and they were out of preference. But now you look back and we say you transcended or you evolved into this new version of yourself or aligned version of yourself that's currently present, and you're able to turn back and look at that with love, and you're able to joke about it, not judge yourself as much as you used to, if any at all, because I know you. But thinking about that, if we've made decisions, if we've done actions, there's a moment where we can detach ourselves from the story and that narrative that we've painted, that we were bad, we shouldn't have done it, all these things. But what it turns into now is, wow, I love that version of myself because it has taught me so much to get here. I know that's how I've been choosing to look at a lot of really big things that have popped up.
I like that, because we always feel like it has to be on this path, like kill the ego, it's the enemy, and shed things that aren't good. It's like, no, it's like, we can unhitch that trailer of baggage we have coming off us, but it's not like we just need to like dump it on the side of the road. It's like, let's bring it home, let's untouch it there, let's unpack it, let's go through it, let's honor it, because it's what makes our journey unique. And it doesn't feel like it when you're in the shit. When I was in that basement, when I met Ben, and I'm doing an integrative health coaching course, and I'm seeing this embodied guy just be so calm and holding space, and I'm like, this is what my brain's just talking to me, right? The preference machine. This is what you're going to do. You can't even figure your shit out right now. But there was a knowing, that knowing we all have of being happy, of knowing we have a highest excitement of purpose. There's this knowing that, okay, yeah, that's true, but I'm going to turn that into my medicine. That poison is going to be the gift. And it sounds fucking crazy, but you know what? Making the NHL sounded crazy. So it's like I'm fortunate in everybody has their own journey. My thing that I've leaned into is like, I could do that, so I can fucking do this. And we've all been through something hard. Every single one of us has something to lean on in that way, in my opinion. You just have to train the awareness to be able to see it.
It's the yous of the world, the Volpattis of the world. Like thinking about you in that basement, right? It's reminded me of Volpatti sitting in the hospital with second-degree burn and being like, and then once coming through that, being like, I'm never going to make it to the show. I'm never going to make it to the NHL. And then he goes, wait, if I can do that, if I can get through that type of things, I can rinse and repeat and do this. Like yourself, I'm laying in a basement talking to this person that I feel is embodied and peaceful and grounded. If I can make it to the NHL, I can do this. I just don't believe in myself yet because this isn't comfortable. It's those type of things and those types of moments. Once again, you deposit enough proof. Gabe's has told me that I say once again a lot. So now I caught myself on that. So I'm trying to catch myself.
Yes, brother.
I'm trying to catch myself in line.
Good job.
Thinking about that, right? You've deposited enough proof that now, not only did you make it to the NHL, you were able to get through the darkest time of your life and deposit enough proof to now align with somebody like myself to turn around and help others that are going through the exact same shit, just their version of it. That right there is the baddest, toughest shit you can possibly do, is go through it yourself, turn around and help others and forgive and love yourself through the process.
Because we just showed up. You just kept showing up. You realized finally in that shower, go back to Ben's episode if you haven't listened, you weren't showing up for that kid. And that pain became medicine of like, you know what? Okay, I am in control. That Hunter S. Thompson, I can end this if I want. But you know what? I'm thinking if I can just do one thing for some person, let's just see how it goes out. If I can help somebody and it's not about me, then we can always go back to this whole unsubscribe thing. And everything changed. You just kept showing up. And that's the theme of this episode. Ryan Schnell, when we're looking at it and we're like, oh, Ben's talking about Ben's suicidal moments and Gabe's suicidal moments sometimes. Like Ryan Schnell, we met him where he was at. He had trouble growing up. He left for home for hockey and the parents are going through a messy divorce. And he's just, that was his version of it, but he didn't leave hockey. He kept showing up, man.
The only way never to find out is to stop showing up. Things will never work out if you stop showing up. Seth Rogen says it a lot. And because they'll always ask him, like, what's your greatest advice to others? He goes, don't quit. There's one surefire way for it never to work out, and that's to quit. If you never quit, you have a chance. You have a swing and you have a fighter's chance. And that's where I kind of listen to you say, like, I'm sitting across the room or across the phone on this guy who's grounded, this and that. If you were sitting in my seat, I didn't feel that way. I'm once again looking at you thinking about that. And it's wild. You never know what you're going through or what the other person's going through, whether it be a podcast, whether it be a friend, a family member, an athlete. You don't know how they're feeling in their body and in their mind. So when you're going through your stuff, recognize that other people have no idea how you're feeling. You have no idea how they're feeling. So let's just show up with some grace, some love, some compassion, help each other going through our shit, and just for the fuck's sake, show a little bit of love to one another, man.
Showing up. That could be a whole mantra that you could use the whole way on a healing journey. You could just keep saying that verbatim, because we hear a lot about people not showing love to people in the world because they don't have a purpose. They don't have a meaning. You know, the guys who are that kind of incel crowd, that the world's bullshit. Women don't care. They only want high quality, all this stuff. It's like, that's the way out of it, is just showing up. It's not everyone comes in on their unique journey and knows exactly what they're going to do or want to do or have a calling to do, or it's just buried under so much shit they can't see it anymore. So just showing up. I remember Jordan Peterson, me and my brother did this joint journaling thing way back. And it was basically just like, they asked him, and it was part of the course, like, what do you do if you don't know what you want to do? And it was just Bashar. It's the same formula over and over again. It's just write down the most exciting things to you. But some of us can't even do that because we're so blocked up, right? So then that's your path. You need to maybe start meditating. You need to have another practice to get there, right? But if you write those things, it doesn't mean that the answer is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't know what 25 is going to be. You might have to work through 20 different excitements. And he said, if you don't know what to do, just chase the one that's closest. And that'll inform you the best way to be like, oh, this actually isn't it. But I learned what I'm closer to it by just showing up, by just showing up, by just showing up. It's so simple, man.
I have to be incredibly vulnerable and honest.
Let's
Probably within like the past 2 months, a month ago, maybe a little bit more, somewhere in there. I sat down when we really started talking about following your highest excitement, and I asked myself, what is that? I had no fucking clue. Like, is it helping people? Is it creating a training community? Is it working one-on-one with clients? Is it like, and I go, get out of work. What excites you personally? Dude, I had no fucking clue. And it was weird because I talk about this stuff, right? It makes sense when I'm talking and following that. But when it came to personal stuff, I was so lost. And I had to break it down to literally square one. And I go, what does excitement feel like in every single moment? Not where, because that's what comes down to is sometimes we get lost in what's our highest excitement for the longest term. Was our life purpose? All these things, what lights our soul on fire? If we bring it back down to the moment, like, do I want this or do I want that? Where do you feel excitement towards that? Where do you feel a pull? You start doing that, then it starts being, that's where I had to start, because anybody who's listening to this is like, hey, I don't know how to follow my highest excitement. The only piece of advice, and through my own personal experience, is any decision you have, whether that be brushing your teeth or getting different types of toothpaste, which one do you get excited about the most? You might have to sit there. For me, it's an instant knowing, but that's what I've learned now is when I'm presented with a couple things, I go, what am I excited about? And then do it excited. I just had to be incredibly vulnerable there, because I know we talk about this stuff, but I got caught within like the past couple months being like, sometimes I don't know what the fuck that looks like.
People, brother, thank you so much for that. People, that's someone 10 years into, quote unquote, what you would sit here and say to the person at the bus stop, doing your highest excitement. And you have to sit down and really look at it and go, wait a second, whoa, right? What do you attribute that to, Ben? What do you think from your experience in what you do? Look at yourself as the client now. You know, as we tell people, when you can't be nice to yourself, you're always nice to someone else. Okay, turn that on yourself. What are you thinking from what you understand, why it got to that point at this point in your journey?
Big life transitions, and I'm stepping beyond a level I ever planned for. I got comfortable in a place, and I say reached my ceiling of where I thought I was just supposed to be doing, and was kind of like bashing my head into a brick wall. And then as things started transcending beyond that ceiling, I didn't know what to predict anymore. My mind couldn't forecast anymore. So it started to freeze a little bit, fawn a little bit, and being like, you don't know what to do, so you're scared. You're going to do this all scared. So instead of going excitement and pursuing this dream, which I could kind of predict what it was going to look like at some point, all of a sudden things started drastically changing in relationships, started changing in locations, started changing in self-worth. Everything started changing, and excitement wasn't the thing that popped up. It was a lot of doubt and fear. So I had to learn, in the midst of the doubt and fear, which are totally allowed to be there, where's the excitement in this? Because now we got a whole new canvas, and how exciting is that we don't predict what's going to happen next. We create. That's always a thing. So even when things are working out and what feels like our highest good, that shit can be scary too. And we sit back and we create a relationship with what's the story and the narrative that's going on, and recognize that in each moment, there's just a pull. Follow the pull, and that's the faith. That's where it comes back to that faith. It's the not knowing, but having faith.
They're beautiful. What a buzzing freaking after the bell. And it just wraps up on, I just hear from that, you just kept showing up. And because you did that, you were prepared for this. You had enough awareness to go, wait a second, I'm about to step into something I didn't even think was a possibility. It's so awesome. Why am I feeling the exact opposite? You had done the work to sit there and go, okay, whoa, pump the brakes. It's okay to feel this. It's okay to feel this. What does this mean? What have I learned? And you were able to change your perspective on it, go back to ground zero, not have an ego of I'm a 10-year mental health professional. You went and walked the talk, brother, because you've put in the time. You've rewritten your story. I know that. Guy's freaking painting his picture to himself every morning of what his life's going to be, okay? You put in the work, brother. You kept showing up. You were a living example of that vulnerability.
I appreciate you. And just like yourself, Schnell, we have Kramer, we have Thorbs, we have Volpatti, we have everybody. It's all the same things too. It's the environment and people you surround yourself with are going to really help along that path. And when you're surrounding yourself with people that are in alignment with the version of yourself that is transcending, it's incredibly helpful and sometimes scary too. So remember, when you're feeling this way, audit the environment and the people and the things, the content around you, because that is going to dictate a lot on what comes up and how we feel about what comes up next. So I want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who's listening. Thank you to all of our guests, because everyone's been a part of this in my transcendence journey, your transcendence journey. And brother, I can't thank and love you enough for what you are doing in the space, what you are helping me work through. We are helping each other work through. So brother, as always, I'm sending you so much fucking love.
Oh, God, he's hitting all the points, brother. I love you so much. It's wild. The second we're going to meet each other in real life, it's going to be fucking crazy. But it's also, what if it comes out? Wait, isn't it supposed to be better than this? Brother, we are prepared for whatever comes. And I know you're by my side. Everybody here listening, we're by your side, always looking for ways to improve this. Let us know in the comments. Send us messages. We're available. We stream Monday to Wednesday, Sunday to Wednesday. Ben's on Sundays and Tuesdays. So come hang out. We love you. Namaste.
As always, send love.
I just seriously hope you enjoyed listening to that podcast as much as I enjoyed recording it with that guest and then breaking it down with Ben on After the Bell. If you really want to support us, the best way is to like and subscribe, to get connected on socials, the Fight Plan on Instagram and TikTok. And then finally, get in the WhatsApp community where we talk about the real fights in life, but of course, the fun hockey fights and fights in sports too. Thank you.